one.
Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. The Seahawks snapped a 6-game losing streak against those Niners. We're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about why is nobody really wanting to commit to Geno Smith? And if you think he should get a contract extension, we'll talk about that. And also, is it the running back renaissance? The teams that do the best right now have the best run game. We'll talk about that as well. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, right? Hit that button. Don't be hanging out for free. Hit that sub button. We really appreciate it. Let's get to it.
It's the Reset with G. Scott.
Welcome into the Reset. We got a lot to talk about, but first, I got the gang all here. I got Paul, Bones, and Frank. It is a 6-game losing streak snap against the Niners. What went right? Who wants to start?
I'll take a little bit of right here. I'm going to give a lot of this credit, especially to Abe Lucas. Finally got the lineman back. He was holding that right side edge. I know Bosa was a little bit banged up during that game, but you saw him keep him at bay. You didn't get to Geno.
Yeah.
You didn't touch him.
Seahawks scored 20 points with Nick Bosa out.
Nick Bosa out, and also having Abe Lucas back protects Geno in the pocket, can also help with your running game that we saw actually pick up a little bit more. We were able to diversify. JSN with a great game. Tyler Lockett with a great first half. DK, a little bit quieter than we're normally used to seeing him, but he still had some catches in there as well. Defense,
7 catches. That was great.
Defense did their job. Big Hank with a pick. I love seeing linemen get picks because it's awesome to see them try to run. He didn't really have too much of a chance, but
yeah,
I love it.
What went right, man?
Well, for Geno Smith, it was seeing KJ Wright on the sidelines. For me, it was just Geno once again delivering. It's his 17th game-winning drive. He's only had 5 seasons as a starter of 10-plus games. So we're working on a sample size of 5 seasons. He has 17 game-winning drives. He's done it consistently year over year. He has 5 game-winning drives in 2 separate seasons, including one with the Jets. Oh, we remember that. So for me, it was Geno. For Geno, it was seeing KJ Wright.
Yeah, Paul, what you got there, buddy? By the way, don't even bring up them damn Broncos. Continue.
I won't. This will be all Seahawks. What I saw in this game was a team that had a game plan. They were able to. They knew their weaknesses. Christian McCaffrey coming back. Christian McCaffrey got a lot of looks still, but didn't really have any big explosive plays. I think the Seahawks did a great job of limiting the explosive plays, and then big players that we talked about needing to step up, stepped up. It is so fun to watch Jackson Smith-Njigba right now. He might be one of my favorite wide receivers to watch in the entire league. I was talking with my buddy here a little bit. Is it safe to say, and maybe I don't want to get far ahead of myself, is JSN replacing Lockett, not in the locker room, but as that safety valve, as that guy that the Seahawks can throw to on a 3rd and short or a situation where they need to get 6 yards and go for that? It seems that role that Lockett has often filled, and you even still have Tyler Lockett, but I think JSN continues to ride that roller coaster up and up and up, and the defense stepped up. And then Geno. At the most important time, we have seen at the most important parts of games this year, Geno hasn't always stepped up. But in this game, with the season, kind of on the line against a division rival, all of the things leading into that, it was a smart football play that Geno that Geno put on there to score that game-winning touchdown. That's what we needed to see from the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks showed that they are a team that has. That they're more confident in themselves coming out of this game, and they had more in the tank than maybe we were giving them in that game.
Yeah, I made a mistake.
Well, we decided that if they lost this game, the season's pretty much over.
No
so
doubt.
With that win, I think we're all kind of back in.
Yeah, I made a mistake. I made a mistake in the last stream, and I want to apologize. I want to send my apologies to JSN, and I want to send my apologies to everybody out there that watches this show. I said on the show that JSN was one of the best wide receivers in the league. I am now changing that stance, and I want to be cool, calm, and collected when I say this. JSN is the best damn wide receiver in the league. That's right. The last 2 games, my man has 17 receptions, 290 yards receiving, 2 tugs. Come on now. Ain't nobody better right now than JSN. The boy has a Mamba mentality that's put inside of him. If you think about Kobe Bryant, when it comes to the wide receiver position, you think about him. The only reason why we have not seen this, he's always had that dog in him. He's always had that Mamba mentality in him. JSN is the best wide receiver in the game. Book it, write it down, take a picture, screenshot, all you want to do. Now, my people looking at me like I'm crazy. That's okay. Mama called him Clay. Mama named him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay. What you got there, Frank? What is next?
How do you respond to that? That's
Right.
JSN is the best wide receiver in the game.
I mean,
the boy's a bad boy. You heard me say it.
I will say he's absolutely one of the best in the slot, and he's showing that right now.
And by the way, the top rankings, they have the best trio in the game. They put the Seahawks number one.
That was something we've talked about on this pod going into the season as a strength, is knowing that we were comparing ourselves to Chicago and some of these other teams that have trios of wide receivers. Ours takes the cake for sure.
No doubt about it. Now, since we're on this topic and we're talking about, because Geno came up in the conversation, and I'll tell you something that has really been getting me in my feelings, if you will. Why? Why won't our collectively Seattle Seahawks fan base, the 12s, why won't we buy in to Geno? Why are we every single time he makes a mistake or does something, you guys are bench him, put in Sam Howell, get rid of this dude. He's a bum. I don't get the disrespect of Geno Smith. Here pretty soon, I think they need to extend him. As a matter of fact, extend Geno right now. If you take Geno Smith off this team, do you guys know what that would mean? You guys think quarterbacks just grow on trees. Ask the Cleveland Browns how well they do. Ask the Giants how well they do. It is not easy to get a quarterback. Why, Frank? Why won't people commit to Geno Smith?
Because he feels like a rental and he's not a star. I think that's my answer. I'm not saying I agree with that. I think if I had to choose what the Seattle Seahawks should do this offseason regarding the quarterback situation, it would be re-signing Geno. I think that's what I would want them to do. We can talk numbers in a little bit, what number would scare us or whatnot, because those numbers keep ballooning.
Let's talk numbers right now. Let's get into numbers.
3 years, $100 million. That's Baker Mayfield's contract. Would you do it?
Yes. Yes, I would do it.
I think I'd do that.
I would do it. Hey, the thing is that with Geno, and you guys know me in my relationship analogies, it reminds It reminds me of that one. Have you ever been in a situation where you're in a relationship and your in-laws and the family, they just don't like you, right? They just don't like the person, no matter what they do. No matter what they do, they just won't be accepted because she married you and then she didn't marry the one guy who ended up being a doctor. But it's something about you. And I think what Frank said is right. I don't think people look at Geno as if he's a star. They look at him like, this is just kind of a temporary thing. No, this is a commitment thing. This is what they have to have right now. You take him off this team is worse. This team is not 5-5.
No, this team is a 2 or 3 win team with Sam Howell under quarterback, and that's not a disrespect to Sam Howell. He's just a project. But what's the roadmap to getting a new QB? We're not a team that bottoms out. That's not our style. A division rival, the team we're playing this week, Arizona, they know a lot about doing that. They had Josh Rosen. They bottomed out for him. Didn't work out. They bottomed out the very next year and got Kyler Murray. That's their style. We're a team that's always in the hunt for the playoffs. We're always in the bubble. We're not ever going to have a top 5 pick unless we make a huge trade like we did.
How did San Fran do with Trey Lance?
Yeah,
where's
they
Trey
traded
Lance
up for
at
that
today?
guy?
Who?
Exactly.
How about the Jags with Trevor Lawrence?
How about the Panthers?
Is Trevor Lawrence would the Seahawks fans rather have Trevor Lawrence just because he's a number 1 pick and he's younger than Geno? Geno's been better.
Like I said, it is not as easy. In every single draft, we go into the draft. We do this every single year, starting in February with the combine in March, and then you go into the April. At the end of April, there's a draft, and then you're like, oh, there's at least about 6 or 7 quarterbacks. There usually ends up just being 2. There's usually there are 2 quarterbacks. You're like, man, maybe wish you would have got them this season. Who would you say probably were their quarterbacks? Well, I'd say it's fair to say that Bo Nix is one of those quarterbacks, right? Bo Nix is definitely a quarterback that's been fantastic. Who's another
Thought
rookie?
you weren't going to talk about them.
I think we're missing a big
Jaden
point 'cause
Daniels would be, I would say, that
Jane Daniels, yes.
would be
There we go.
the
Jane
second
Daniels.
example.
But I mean,
I like Drake May.
I'll tell you what. I like Drake May. I like Jaden Daniels. I like Bo Nix.
Mm-hmm.
You ready for this? Better than Caleb Williams.
I think we're missing a big point because the original question was, why aren't fans rallying behind Geno Smith and wanting him to stay and not saying bench him after everything? Is fans don't give a shit about stats. Fans don't give a crap about anything that you've done in your career. They care about you right now. The person that's going to get blamed for a win or loss is going to be the quarterback. And a lot of people, if you don't like Geno Smith, I get why you don't like him, but a lot of your mindset's probably coming from the national media where we're not getting too much, so they're saying we're not much. And you'd rather have a quarterback that they're trying to talk about, even if their stats are worse than Geno, they're in a better reputation, a better light right now. It's about what you sell them, not what you actually put on the field.
I like that because Patrick Mahomes been awful this year.
Precisely. He's
Patrick
been one of the
Mahomes-
worst quarterbacks in the NFL and finally lost a game, and now some people are finally starting to get critical of him because they finally lost.
Not playing like one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. That's ridiculous.
Okay, wait. I'm not going to go that far.
Leads
But
the league in EPA on third and fourth
in terms of Patrick
downs.
Mahomes standards, he's at the worst he's ever been. This is the worst
Does
Patrick
he
Mahomes
not
we've
turn
seen.
that damn ball over like an apple turnover every single game?
And what would these fans say if Geno did that?
Oh my
not
goodness.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
They love him
Don't
over
worry,
there.
Geno's been doing it.
And Geno's been doing it, and they've been ready to out him.
Well,
but Patrick Mahomes,
but I want to go to that point that he made, and let's talk about that. That's a very good question. Do you guys care about stats? My man Bones just said the fans don't care about stats. They don't care about the fact that Geno Smith, since 2022, leads the league in fourth quarter comebacks, right? Nobody cares about that. So is that true, Frank? You think people just like whatever about the stats? We care about the feeling and what's going on right now?
I mean, winning solves everything.
Woo!
But the thing is, we do win with Geno, and we have this interesting roster. It's kind of like, are we a rebuilding roster? Or are we a contending roster? Or are we right in the middle? We're kind of right in the middle. But we have draft picks invested in it. We have future draft picks invested in this team right now. Leo Williams is a win now guy. He's not waiting to build something. Devon Witherspoon, as young as he is, win now guy. Julian Love, win now guy. DK Metcalf, win now guy. Some of these guys, we have a young core in some aspects, and we have some guys that are ready to contend and be in the playoffs now. And I think if you're going to have that team in this hodgepodge, you need the quarterback like a Geno. Because okay, so if you have a young quarterback and he takes him 3 years to be competitive, where's Leo at that point? Where's DK at that point?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And speaking of, now that I think about it, how many starting quarterbacks have the Seahawks had in the last 15 seasons?
you
Two.
can count them on one hand.
Two. Have two starting quarterbacks. Like, do
Two
you
quarterbacks, two coaches.
Do you know how incredible that is? You know how many teams out there would wish they had something like it? I don't think, this is my whole point, and we can move off this topic. I don't think that we want to move off of Geno. We don't want to get into that Russian roulette when it comes to quarterbacks and having a different quarterback every single year. Look, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. Keep my man Geno. GMs, all y'all, sign Geno. Give him his money, man. Quit playing games. Yes.
Real quick,
I
want to throw out a couple ideas. Would you do 3 for 120?
You just said 3 for 100. Quit moving up.
No, because
You wait for come on, man. You had us at 3 for 100, man.
So Kyle Murray's the 10th highest paid quarterback. He's making $46 million. Where is Geno going to fall on the scale?
Well,
there's 9 quarterbacks who make $50 million.
Well, you know,
would you do a 1 year $50 million deal with him? He probably wouldn't take a 1 year.
I don't want another 1 year deal with Geno. It's either you
I don't think he
commit
does
or you
either.
don't commit. You keep doing this bridge stuff, you're not going to get there.
I don't think. I'm sure Geno doesn't want a 1 year.
No.
he
wants
definitely
the
he wants a 3.
Everyone knows what a 1 year contract means to a player. Everyone knows.
Yeah.
It means we need you here right now, but we might not want you later.
Well, and to be fair, really outside the quarterback, all contracts are 1 year contracts.
Speaking of that, speaking of 1 year contract, before we get back to football, real quick, Bones, you went on a date, man?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It was fun.
Nah,
went on
screw
a
the
date?
Seahawks. We got to figure this out.
Yeah, here's the hard-hitting news.
Hey,
Let's do it.
so what happened, Bones?
What happened? We went on. I mean, we got on a couple
How'd you meet her?
I mean, online. I mean,
Okay, well, tell us about that. What happened online?
Happened online. I mean, it's you match. It's the first step.
Okay. What dating site?
Hinge.
Okay. You matched.
Yeah, we matched, talking. I mean, she's not originally from this area, so it's not like there was much common ground in terms of, oh, what do you like to do around Seattle?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But showed her a couple places around the city, took her to a Kraken game, kind of took her, I think one time I took her down to my area, kind of more south of Seattle, kind of get you out of the city, because anyone who comes here from out of state and they see Seattle, they think, oh, this is Washington. No, that's just Seattle.
Yeah.
But it was a good time. I mean, I like to be my joking self, have fun, couple drinks, watch a Kraken game.
Show the 93-mile-per-hour fastball.
It's not 93 anymore, as much as I wish it was. You'd be lucky to get 85, Frank. 85.
Still pumping 85, though.
Did you guys split, or did you split the bill, or did you pay for all the dates?
No, I pay for them.
Okay. Frank, you good with paying for the first dates?
Yeah.
Paul, you good
Wow,
with paying for the
who
first
isn't
dates?
good with that?
Yeah,
Wait
you
a
got.
minute,
Yeah,
wait.
you got to be. If you're initiating the date, if you're, I think actually, G, I think we talked about this on the G and Ursula show. I think one of the times I filled in. If you initiate the date, I think you're on the hook for paying for it. But gentlemen, it's always gentlemanly.
So wait a minute. So how many dates are you on the hook for in the beginning to pay for?
Whatever gives me advantage over the other people she's going out with.
Oh,
It's an advantage. It's an edge. If your girl is dating 5 guys right now, or going out with 5 guys,
I'd be depressed.
no, like five first dates. 5 first dates.
Okay.
And 3 of those guys are refusing to pay the first, or they want to split. I think Bones and the other guy rise up a little bit. It's just a little advantage.
Hey, put this in the comments, y'all. I need this in the comments. We got to know. If the guy does pay for the first date, I don't even know why that's mandatory, but that's another story. If they do, how many dates are they on the hook for? I got to tell y'all right now, my first date with my wife was coffee. You know what I mean?
Classic.
That was great, fantastic. Matter of fact, I didn't even pay for her coffee. She paid for it. And, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I think the next day she paid for it too.
Wow.
Oh, man, I just thought about this, man. Hey, man, come on, get you a woman that's going to pay for the first time, man. It might make it wow. So you've been on how many dates now?
2 to 3. One was a quick, just a little quick lunch. I wouldn't call it a full date or anything, but I'd say 2 to 3.
Yeah. So do you like her?
Yeah.
All right. When you plan on seeing her again?
Probably sometime towards the end of this week.
Okay. Do y'all text throughout the day?
Oh, yeah.
Do you hit her with the good morning?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Wow, now you're heating up.
Are good morning texts crucial?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I have no excuse. I'm in the office.
How
at
do you
5,
get
so.
your name in front of her before anyone else can in the morning? You get her a text.
Oh, okay.
No, see these little advantages. It's
Yeah.
all, you just
Yeah.
whatever gives you a little
Also,
edge.
who doesn't want to go on a date with Bones, man? Like, come on.
Exactly.
This is a
Yeah.
good time over here. I'm fun.
93 miles an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. Go to a hockey game, go to a baseball game. We can go to dinner. I'll take you bowling. I don't care.
All right, let's get back to this NFC West division. As you all know right now, the Seahawks got the upcoming game against the first place Arizona Cardinals. They're 6-4. The rest of the league is 5-5. Yeah, I think you got the Rams 5-5, but they're 2-1 in the division. You got the Seahawks are 5-5, and what are they in the division? 1-2. And then you have the Niners last. 1-3.
Hold that.
1-3.
And
That's
let's-
right. Bang, bang, Niner gang.
Oh
Ah!
Take it.
By the way,
hold it.
K. Hey, wait, why y'all going off on KJ? Man, what's up with Seattle? Man, Geno threw KJ under the bus.
I
Y'all
know.
getting mad about seeing KJ? Man, KJ sent me a text. I talked to little good old KJ. KJ, my guy. Man, y'all giving KJ a hard time. Remember, in all fairness, KJ did want to stay here and coach.
Oh, we know. We know.
Okay. All right.
But you can't. That's just the one team.
Okay. So let's call it right now. We know that a wild card is probably not going to come out of this division. In order for you to go to the playoffs, you're probably going to have to win this division. Let's talk about what that course looks like. You got numbers, Frank, over there. What do the Seahawks need to do outside of, for sure, got to win this game against the Cardinals at home? A home game.
Yeah, it would really hurt our chances if we fell back to under 500 and then we fell to 1-3 in the division. It's amazing how the Rams, the Cardinals, and the Seahawks all had game-winning drives on the Niners this year. Crazy.
Oh,
crazy.
Makes me feel happy when the Niners lose.
It's
It's
just-
like when the Astros lose. I just feel happy inside.
They have a 30% chance of making the playoffs right now, the Niners. So it's just not happening.
Where's
for them.
the Seahawks numbers at? Because I know we were at 8% before this game.
I think it's like around 40-ish. It's in the 40s.
Oh, 40%.
Yeah.
Let's
So
go.
Not bad. Not bad. But I'm looking at this Arizona matchup. One of the things I was asking you guys and myself a little bit is I kind of think these teams are a little similar. Young coach, really inconsistent defense. I think those paint a different picture because our defense should be good. Their defense should not be good, but our defense has struggled. Very young weapons, right? They're working with Marvin Harrison, Trey McBride. They drafted a running back. And Arizona's only one game ahead, but it has felt like they've turned a corner. They've won 4 in a row. Kyler Murray hasn't won like 2 games in a row in like 3 years before this streak. Man, just the one thing is they block. They're so big and they block. So check this out. They run a 2 tight end set.
12
Right,
personnel.
that's 12 personnel, 45% of the time. That's second in the league to the Chiefs.
I think a certain Baines talked about that
Come
personnel
on.
a few times.
But think about this: if you don't have
Yes.
the offensive line, if you have struggles, what should you be doing? Get a 6th guy out there. Get a 7th guy out there. Who can block as your running back? I don't know. I think James Conner is pretty good at blocking. The guy is, I wrote it down, 233 pounds. Check how big this team is, because Kyler Murray's a little guy. Marvin Harrison, 6'4", 205. James Conner, 6'1", 233. McBride, 6'3", 246. Michael Wilson, 6'2", 213. Trey Benson, their new running back, 6'1", 223. This is a big team. They hit you in the mouth, and they can block really well. They're 4th in pass block. They're 14th in run block. And the last thing I'll say, too, is this new coaching system away from Cliff Kingsbury. Kyler Murray is taking the ball under center significantly more. He was at like 12% of his snaps under center. He's now over 25, getting to 30%. And I think that gives you so many more options, particularly if you're a mobile quarterback.
Oh, when you're under center? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's something another thing that Bang talks
Oh,
about
I know.
here on the show. And being a team that, right, an offense that's kind of tough to know what you're going to be doing when you usually are up under center. So we're going to see how that's going to play out. I'm going to love that. One topic that I want to talk about before we go, I do want to talk about the running back renaissance that's happening right now. All of the teams that are out there that are balling. As we all know, we got Gentry from Boise State is going to be in this
Your
draft.
Heisman pick, right?
Yeah, that's right, the Heisman pick, because I believe if they went out, their last game will be against Oregon State. I think their next game is against Wyoming. The last game is against Oregon State. I do believe that this team has action, and he has action at winning the Heisman. And if they do win out, yeah, I think Boise State going to be in the college football playoffs because their only loss is to the number 1 team in the country, Oregon, by 1. But there's been some years where guys that people weren't drafting running backs. They were kind of calling them dime a dozen, trying to get them in late rounds. Are we about to start seeing? Are you ready to start seeing running backs drafted in the first in the first round? Are you ready for your favorite team, if you're not a Seahawks fan, whatever? Are you ready to start going to get that running back in the first round?
Oh, yeah. I want people to start drafting running backs more a little bit. I know that in the recent years, they've been kind of saying, we don't want to pay you that much money because we know you're not going to last that long. Even though you see some running backs in this league, barring terrible, terrible injuries, they're playing 6-7 years down the road.
Yeah, they are.
Look at Derrick Henry, still in the league, still balling it up now in Baltimore. If you can get a good running back, and I'm talking top of the draft style running backs, you might be able to get a diamond in the rough somewhere in the middle of the draft. But if you can start drafting them earlier and you can establish your run game and show you're committing to it, I think it will work out for you. Because if you can't work out with the draft pick, then you can go back to the free agent market and find one.
And you bring up Derrick Henry, who's just a freak of nature. He's the best running back I've seen since Adrian Peterson.
Everyone thought he was done.
James Conner's 29.
Yeah.
He looks great out there. And I wrote this down. This was the last offseason. Derrick Henry was a free agent.
Yep.
Joe Mixon was a free agent. We just saw what he did on Monday Night Football. Josh Jacobs, free agent. Green Bay's 4th in rushing. J.K. Dobbins went for 10 cents, right? No one wanted J.K. Dobbins.
Yep.
Saquon Barkley.
Well, yes, we'll get to Saquon. How about Aaron Jones for Minnesota? Philly is 1st in rushing. Actually, they overtook Baltimore. How about David Montgomery a year ago with Detroit? And then we mentioned James Conner before. Like, you find the right, if you have the right team that sees their offensive line, sees their protections, and sees what they can do, and go, James Conner would fit amazing here. Najee would fit amazing here. This guy's going to fit amazing here. And it's really worked out. I mean, we haven't seen Joe Mixon play like this in Cincinnati.
Can I ask you guys something? You can comment in the chat. I like to go tiers.
I love
Top tier,
tiers.
middle tier, bottom tier. Okay? It keeps it simple.
CMC was a trade, right? That was Carolina guy.
Here's the tiers question, and I want to go around the horn. Is when it comes to top tier, middle tier, bottom tier, where is Kenneth Walker III?
I'd say he's at the peak of the second tier, trying to bust into that first tier.
That's the perfect answer.
Yeah, I think that nails it exactly.
He's not top tier, but he's right there.
He's right there, and he hasn't gotten as many of those breakout carries because for a long time we were kind of going away from the run game for a long time, so he hasn't really been able to develop that too much this season. But I think towards the end of the season, he could break out and get into that top tier.
Paul, what you got on that?
When I think of that upper level, I think of Derrick Henry, I think of Christian McCaffrey, and I'm going to put Jahmyr Gibbs. Montgomery's the touchdown guy, but I'm talking skill like, whoa. Like when I see that guy, the abilities that he has, Ken Walker can get into that conversation. He hasn't had enough moments where it's just like, man, he took over that game like we've seen with Derrick Henry, like we've seen with Christian McCaffrey.
Like Saquon last Thursday night? Goodness.
Like Saquon. Like Joe Mixon. I'm not putting Joe Mixon with these guys because I think Joe Mixon's also still in that second tier. He's clearly showing that the move to Houston was a good one. But when you are those level of names, when you're the running backs that everybody knows, there are a few football fans that don't know who CMC, Derrick Henry, Saquon are. Ken Walker, I don't think is quite there, but if you're going to have me go top 10, Ken's going to be right there in that 6-7 range for me, very close to that elite level of running back.
Well, what kind of questions do we want to ask Mebane tomorrow? Because we're going to be breaking down some stuff with him, obviously, but are we still in must-win territory? I think that we are, especially we're getting down. We're draining on our home games, right?
If it wasn't a divisional game, maybe not, but we got to get
every division game is a must win.
In this division,
in this division, but in this division at home, right? Like, because I don't know if you guys know this or not, or remember this or not. The Seahawks still have to travel to Chicago. The Seahawks got Green Bay still coming here. The Seahawks have to go on the road to Arizona. The Seahawks have to go on the road to the Rams.
We got the Jets.
The Jets.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Bring them.
By the way, the Jets are trash.
And that's a rare example of a really good running back on a bad team. But guess what? They're not running the ball well, and I'm not even going to put it all on him. I'm Breece Hall.
I was going to have a question for Mebane for tomorrow. Is like, now that we have Abe Lucas back, as from a defensive lineman standpoint, how do you prepare for that, and what do you plan to attack on a guy who's just returned?
Yeah, that's a good question. And you know who else I want to ask Mebane about, because nobody wants to give him his props? I thought Olu did a great job.
Fantastic center.
Yeah.
That one snap, I wouldn't even put that on him. It was a little bit of a missile, but it was on target.
Yeah, you want to know a bad stat about that?
No.
We got 6 botched snaps on the year.
Yeah, and how many are from a retiree?
A good amount. Not all of them, but a good amount. But
center is so hard, man. I got to give my love to center. If you look at me, you probably would be shocked to hear that I was the starting center for my high school football team. It's one of the positions that isn't talked about enough. I think that it's so important. You have to have a great relationship with your quarterback. You have to have a great relationship with your line. You have to be the leader of that offensive line, and you have to be able to snap the ball instantaneously and then block NFL-level defenders. I mean, could you imagine having to snap the ball and then imagine when Aaron Donald was on the defensive line and you had to snap the ball and then try to stop that guy. So I got to give props to the centers out there.
Paul, I bet you, did you ever fart?
Did I ever fart? Probably. Yeah, it was gross. Football's gross. How many people are covered in sweat and whatever bodily fluids are out there? You know
So-
what I
Don't
mean?
need to get that deep.
So one question I had for us towards the end of this, and maybe me, Bane, would like to answer this as well. So would that be your answer? Because I was reading this article of about a little less than 10 years ago on NFL.com, and it was ranking all the positions in the sport in terms of importance. And it was just so funny because how much has changed. So like wide receiver was like 6th, running back is like in the double digits. And it's like they had a completely different idea. 2015, so this is when your team wins the Super Bowl, Paul, and this is Cam Newton and all that. So like they had edge rusher and tackle, some of those things. What do you guys think if running back renaissance is in full swing now? What's the next position that's gonna get its like due and the game is gonna change?
Offensive line.
Oh, give me a specific position.
Left and right guard.
Yep.
The
guard.
The tackles are already extremely important.
Because Paul, are
right
you
guards.
leaning center?
Yeah.
Is with the with like the
I mean,
post
with
Jason Kelce?
the center's a quarterback. I mean, and we Seahawks fans, we remember what life was like when Max Unger left up out of here, huh?
Don't
Y'all want to talk
don't
about
do
that conversation?
No.
So we gotta go, right?
Yeah, we definitely got to go. Y'all remember that whole thing. So, yeah, that's what's going to happen. Those three, the left and right guards and centers, they're going to start giving them their respect. Look, life don't go on. We can see, obviously, the quarterback is the most important position. That's a no-brainer. But in order for the quarterback to go, in order for the quarterback to do his thing, you need an offensive line. You need protection. I think a lot of teams got away from understanding that you have to invest in your O-line. This is why we're going to see over the next 2 to 3, 4 years, it's a copycat league. We will see more teams go and draft offensive linemen. There will be records set over the next few years on O-line.
And we're one of 3 teams that invested less than $20 million on the O-line,
You
right?
ain't got to bring that up, man.
Well, I'm just
Get out
saying,
of here,
it's
man.
good to know for
Get
next year,
on
right?
outta here.
Good to know for next year. We learn from our mistakes. If I was going to throw out a position that I think might get a jump, and I'm being a little biased because we made an acquisition for him, I think Mike. I think a middle linebacker might really get a resurgence, and I really am hopeful for Ernest Jones.
To put a close on that, the Lions don't score 52 points twice in a season without the. You can you can point to the skills players absolutely, but you're not that good on offense as the Lions are without that offensive
and
line.
Who leads the league in investment and money paid to the offensive line?
Detroit and
Detroit
Kansas City.
Lions and Kansas City Chiefs. All right, let's get up on out of here. Hey, look here. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's been fun. Thank you, Bones. Thank you, Frank. And thank you, Paul. Hey, good hanging out with you guys. Let's get to X and O's. You know why they want to bring up your past? Because they stuck in theirs. Ain't that something? A lot of times you try to do your thing, starting to excel, starting to move ahead, starting to get things better for you in your life, and they want to say, oh, but so-and-so, remember back then they did this? That's because they stuck in theirs, right? And so sometimes when a lot of people are stuck in their past, they want to try to keep you stuck in yours. Nah, keep moving, keep shining, keep excelling to that next level. Don't live in the past, baby. Get rid of that rear view mirror. Don't keep it. Don't look back. Keep going. Keep looking ahead. Let them stay in the past. Don't let them pull you into the past. Appreciate you rocking with me. Love you for that. And as always, be kind.